What is up, you guys? It is your boy John here from Puma Plow. How's everybody doing? And welcome back to another On the Farm video. Do appreciate it, guys. Number, what is it? 81. Do appreciate it, guys. So we are currently flying over our big shed down at the farm. The center section of this shed was built in 1918, the steep parts of the roof. And so it's nearing, it's getting pretty old. The other two parts were put on when Dad was younger. He does remember putting them on with Grandpa. They built the lower parts, the lean-tos, if you will. And for some reason, this side here, guys, the roof has just really been going to crap. This whole shed was painted many years ago at this point. We're not actually sure of when we had it painted, but it's been a while. It's going to crap, along with our old combine shed. That is what this shed is, or used to be. We still call it the combine shed. Obviously, there's no combine in there now. And we actually have some plans for this shed. Maybe next year, maybe year after, something like that. But for right now, the roof is going pretty bad with the rust. This shed was actually painted, no, was it? I can't remember now. We had some sheds painted years ago by a local guy, years and years and years ago. I don't remember if this was painted. I don't think it was, because of the two different colors of tin there. After one of the storms, we had to replace some tin, I do believe, on this shed back in the day. But same thing, the roof is really going. And then this is the old hog shed that we use. This is the orange shed, as I guess we can start calling it, that has all the orange equipment in. Same thing there. Roof is starting to go. Now, you can tell there's a bit of a difference here. We did have the roof painted on this part of the shed, and there's something on the lens here of the drone. I want to point that out. I think I smeared a bug, and I didn't realize it for quite some time, actually. So throughout this video, there is some drone footage with the bug on the lens, but it happens. So there's this guy that comes down out of Iowa, I believe. I don't know his name. It's not really like a shout out situation per se, but he comes down from Iowa and likes to, or he owns a painting company, I guess, and we happened to run into him. He came into the farm right after we did one day, actually, and he painted a couple of the roofs of our sheds for us. It's really bright in the sunshine here. All the before clips were filmed at sunset, and this was filmed during bright sunny day. So it's a very, very big difference, obviously. And there's that spot on the lens again. It happens, I guess. You can smear some bugs from time to time. So, yeah, the reflection here was just incredible, how bright those roofs are now. That is a really nice paint that they painted them. Of course, it's the, like, silver aluminum, whatever you want to call it, paint. And there's the hog shed all painted up, looking pretty. Looking pretty, ready to go. Last many years, not supposed to rust for so many years, I forget how many. But the roofs obviously rust faster than the sidewalls because they get a lot more rain and whatnot. So we had him paint those three things for us. And here's the combine shed kind of later in the evening. I went back out, got rid of the thing on the lens. Later in the evening, filmed it again. It looks awesome. His guys did a really good job for us, and yeah, there's that hog shed again when it's a little bit later in the evening. And then I believe, yep, the big shed later in the evening, like I said. For some reason, that tin down there, I don't know why, it's just going to crap. I don't know if it gets more rain on that side or what, but it is. It's hopefully it'll last now for many years. So while we were down there, guys, the farmers were out spraying the fields. They're spraying a herbicide, I guess you'd call it, for corn for next year. So this is like pre-immersion, I guess you could call it. And you guys probably know what I'm talking about more than I know what I'm talking about. So they're spraying the fields that will be corn next year. And this is a John Deere sprayer. I'm not sure what model. I should have actually jotted it down while we were down there. That was Dad's idea, and I forgot to zoom in and look at it in some of my pictures. But anyway, big old John Deere sprayer, 100-foot boom on it. I do know that because we talked to the farmer man and asked him that, how big the booms were. 100-footers. He is running GPS. They used to have a pretty good size sprayer that they would run foam marker with, but now with GPS, you don't need the foam marker. You can just push the button and away you go. So it is pretty cool. He sprayed all day into the night, actually, on a bunch of ground down there that they farm. So there you can see he is now spraying, and he is flying across these fields. Based off the speed of the drone, He was going anywhere from like 10, 12 to 15 or so, somewhere in there. I'm not actually sure of an exact speed, and he has to like slow down at some spots in the field, like right here there's a ditch. Didn't really slow down for it, bounces through it. Some of the bigger ditches he would pull it back and slow down a little bit, but you know, for the most part he was just out there rolling, and it was kind of hard to keep up with him with the drone. I mean, the drone flies at like 30 miles an hour, but you know, to keep him centered up ish in the frame and you know, keep the shot looking like I wanted it to, it was a little difficult. So I've never filmed anything going quite that fast. And I really didn't realize at the time I got really close to power lines right there with the drone, like dangerously close to the power lines with the drone. That would have been bad. That would have been really bad. So here we are, we're just rolling with him. Like I said, 100-foot booms, and he is spraying for corn next year, which means obviously these fields they are not going to touch until next year with the planter. Next spring, these fields are done until then. So it's kind of crazy to think that you're just done with your fields till next year at this point. So very interesting. But that's where they're at around here doing anhydrous. The guys that do anhydrous, which is a type of fertilizer for corn that you put down in the fall or in the spring. You put it down in the dirt and then you plant your corn down in there. There's a big ditch you had to slow down for right there. See the whole machine bounce through there. But anhydrous ammonia is a type of fertilizer that some guys use. These guys here do not use any anhydrous. They side dress with liquid fertilizer after the corn is already up. So they use a starter fertilizer in the planter, and then they use what's called side dressing, so which we filmed this past spring. So pretty cool. Just rolling with his 100-foot booms. I was just amazed, and how fast he can cover so many acres with this thing. I mean, it's insane. It really is insane. There's a little ditch he slowed down a little bit far, and away he goes. So it's awesome. It's just so cool. It's so cool to be able to see this farm equipment in action. And here we are at 400 feet, guys, or so. Little less. And I don't like to push it above the 400-foot mark. Obviously, that is the legal mark here in the United States. I'm not legally allowed to fly the drone above 400 feet, and I try not to push that. You know, a few feet less is good for me, because I just don't want to get in trouble. So don't want to lose my drone, and don't want to have any issues. But yeah, we're sitting up here about 400 feet, and I personally really like the shots where we're up, just kind of chilling. I think it's really cool, and it's definitely a different perspective. But that's a good shot there. You can really see the mist of the spray going down. So that's pretty cool. All right, I think we're just about done with Mr. Farmer Man here, as he bounces through that ditch again. If it were me, I'd probably cut an end row there and spray it the other way. Anyway, so we have finally had our first killing frost, guys. This is the wheat field that was planted into corn, no-tilled right into corn ground. And you can see the volunteer corn is all brown and nasty looking, and actually now in real life by now it's like completely gone. It's all shriveled up, dried up, because after we had a frost, we had like 2 nights of frost, and then it was like 80 degrees. So yeah, it really cooked it basically, because the corn was dead, and then with the 80-degree temperatures with tons of wind we've been having, it just simply cooked that corn out in those fields, which is fine because there's no reason for it to be there. It's what came up after the harvest. That is what that is. So guys, we are back to plowing. It was a busy day down on the farm, kind of. It's actually over a couple days, but you know, who's counting, right? So the first things first, I just want to say that 3-point hitch plow with no gauge wheel is a major pain in the arse. It is not fun to set, and our biggest problem is that we don't plow enough. If we plowed every year and we plowed, you know, more acreage, you know, more than like an acre, we would have something. But since we don't plow that much, and we don't plow every year, even, it's been 2 or 3 years since we've plowed, 2 years since we've plowed. So, you know, it's a learning curve. We're not the best plow setters out there, and I'm sure some of you guys are gonna have some things to say about the way it turns out, but just keep in mind that we don't do this all the time. We don't plow every year, and we don't plow, you know, that much ground either. If we had more ground to plow, it'd be a lot different. So, and without a gauge wheel on a 3-point hitch is kind of a nightmare to set this plow. It's a good plow, don't get me wrong, but without the gauge wheel, it can really be a nightmare. So here I'm adjusting the top link for Dad. And the biggest thing, the biggest thing is the gauge wheel, that we just don't have it, and getting it all adjusted right. There's not that many adjustments, but it can be a real nightmare. It really can be. So the dirt was wet too. You know, we had delayed plowing because we had like 2 inches of rain, and it was still pretty wet. So we're plowing anywhere, and this is our biggest problem without the gauge wheel. We're plowing anywhere from like 6 to, I don't know, 13 inches deep. And that's the problem. We want to be around 8, 10 at most. 8 to 10 inches would be good, but some spots I measured while Dad was plowing, he was 13 inches deep, and it's like, ooh, that old 995 doesn't really like that. It's only about a 65 horsepower tractor. This is pretty sandy soil, so it works. You know, if you were in heavy clay, no way it would work in a million years. But in this sandy soil, it works. Now, this used to be a barn out here, and cattle lot, hog lot out here over the years. So there are tons of rocks, just tons of rocks. Every time we disc, every time we plow, we pull up rocks. This year actually was not that bad. Last time we plowed, like 2 years ago, we filled the bucket on the 995 completely full of rocks. So over the winter, you know, if we get like a nice little dry spell and it's not too cold and windy, we'll go out there and pick rocks up and haul them away. We don't keep any of them down there. We get rid of all of them. Yeah, we'll go out there and pick rocks after it rains, because then you can see, you know, you can see the rocks, find them a little bit easier, and all that good stuff. So I should have had a spade fork with me. Spade fork works real good, or, you know, plain old pitchfork works as well, but my hands work too. So this this angle, guys, if you remember from a couple years ago, the very first, maybe one of the very earliest on the farms, when we plowed the GoPro under. That was the last time we plowed, so that was 2 years ago, yeah. Because we're coming up on year 3 of on the farms almost, so like next late spring or so. But yeah, we plowed the GoPro under a couple years ago there, and this is the shot. This is from the basically where the drawbar mounts to the tractor. You can swing the drawbar to the sides, and it's actually out to the side currently. And magnet mount the GoPro on, and now I run a safety wire on it, so if it falls, it won't lay on the ground. It will stay up out of the dirt and not get plowed under again, because that was a nightmare when that thing got plowed under. Not very happy about that. We spent a lot of time digging in the dirt that day trying to find it. So, but here you can see, you know, he's getting a little deep here, and it's no fault of Dad's, to be honest, guys. It's the gauge wheel. Not having a gauge wheel is such a nightmare to plow with 3-point hitch. Without the gauge wheel, it is a nightmare, guys. You can see there, I think he hit a rock. The whole plow kind of tilted to the side a little bit there. He said something about hitting a fence post. Many years ago, I was plowing. I think it was with the little plow. Got a little 8-inch plow for the small Power King, and I split an old fence post just right into that plow. And I think he said something about he did that, but I wasn't out there the whole time, so I didn't go out and pick it up. It was laying in the furrow. No big deal. It'll be there next time we plow. Maybe we can find it then. I don't know. Not too concerned about it. So here he's on the first pass going up the side of the garden, kind of where we had all the gourds, and holy gourds, there's gourds everywhere still. But now that he's plowed, and you know, pretty well gets rid of all the gourds. There I am on the Power King. Just kind of checking out what he's doing. But here you can see it's a little deep, and it's the tractor spinning. There is a differential lock pedal that he was holding down with his right foot, it would be. but sometimes it just doesn't matter. When you bury that plow like right there, yeah, that tractor starts digging and you're done then. So it is only 2-wheel drive, so about 65 horsepower, and actually the back tires are loaded with the calcium, basically like salt water, so it doesn't freeze. But there you can see on that front coulter there, he actually picked up a gourd, and it was just along for the ride. I picked it out of there later and threw it back in the garden, but kind of amusing that he was able to pick up a gourd and just take it along with him for the ride. So kind of amusing. But here he is plowing from the air, guys, plowing from the air. You can see it's getting late in the day, and that's kind of why we didn't take more time to adjust the plow. There are some more things we could have tried, like one of the problems is the first plow was not getting enough dirt. As you can tell, like right there, it's barely moving anything. There it's moving a little more, but he also got a little deep. So the theory would be you move out the wheels on the tractor so that your first plow is getting a little more, and that takes some time. It's not as easy as it sounds, but it can be done, definitely. We just didn't feel like doing it because, like I said, it was getting late in the day, and this was filmed on Wednesday. Yeah, and we weren't going to go down there on Thursday. And then Friday, they were calling for the end of the world as far as rain goes. And spoiler, we got about 4 drops. So we would have been able to plow the day this video gets released. However, they were calling for the end of the world. So we were like, we need to plow because this dirt was already plenty wet. We didn't think we could plow if it got any rain at all. So we made the decision to go ahead and get it done, and like I said, it didn't turn out the best. The garden is a little washboardy, but as you can tell right there, it's kind of uneven. But you know, in the spring, we're gonna work this and work it with the harrow and the disc. So it's really not that big of a deal. It's just gonna take me a little bit more time out there in the spring, but fun fact about your boy John here from Puma Plow, I enjoy it. I enjoy getting out there on the tractor and ripping up the garden and leveling, and anytime I get to drive the 995, I'm all about it. So yeah, I totally enjoy it. I will not mind it come springtime to get out there and work the garden up and get it leveled out for planting our, I think we're going to plant annual rye in the spring now. Dad keeps changing, or not Dad keeps changing, but I say one thing in a video, and I know he's watching right now, but I say one thing in a video, and then like a couple days later, he'll be like, no, we're going to do the other thing. And it's like, oh, you didn't tell me that before. Oh, okay, cool. So I'll say it, you know, it's a whole thing. But I think what we're going to do is plant annual rye come spring, after we work the garden a few times to kill a few crops of weeds. Just because, why not? Let's kill all the weeds that we can. Weeds are terrible, and we have a lot of them, especially this year. It seemed like we had a lot of weed pressure out there. But yeah, so we're going to be disking in the spring and leveling and encouraging weeds to come up so that we can kill them. It's kind of mean sounding, isn't it? A little bit. Anyway, we are definitely going to kill as many weeds as we can. And yeah, Dad, I left the video in. Yeah, he got the spigot with the bucket of the tractor, just a little bit. We don't think it's leaking. The water was on when he hit it there. The water pressure was on. We're only running 40 pounds of pressure down there. And as far as we know, it's not leaking. Now come spring, it might be a different story. We might have to make another video of digging up and fixing the spigot that we broke. But that's okay. That's okay. It's part of it. It all happens, and you know, to say I'm definitely not saying I've never hit anything down there. I broke a stud in our shed one time. I think I broke 2 studs actually. Caught him with the bucket of the tractor. Pulling the tractor in the shed one time, not really paying attention, going too fast. Pop goes the stud. I totally did it. It was bad too. So we fixed it. We patched it up. It's all good to go. But you can tell the garden is fairly uneven. When you plow and your plow set correctly, it should be a lot smoother when you get done. But like I said, through disking and harrowing in the spring, we'll be fine. we will be just fine. I'm gonna have a lot of fun out there putting it back. I don't mind it at all. So overall, plowing's all right. It's done, and we don't have to touch it till spring now, which is awesome. So I got one of them Christmas laser things, show lights, multifunction, which my Lowe's has already sold out of these, which is kind of amusing to me. I was gonna make this a separate video, but it didn't really turn out like I wanted to. I'm projecting it on the side of the big shed on the north side there. I think it looks pretty cool. However, I will say flat out that video does not do this justice at all. In person, it is way, way, way cooler. The cool thing about this particular one from Lowe's is that, and this is not a sponsored video, by the way, guys. I wish it was. I really do. This is a cool product I actually like, and I wish it was a sponsored video. Hit me up, guys. I will. Seriously, hit me up. But the cool thing about this is it has all the different patterns, and it sits there and just runs. So it's better than like the standard laser ones that just sit there and don't do anything. This one's always moving, so it catches your eye a lot more. And it really caught my eye up at Lowe's, and I was like, I have to have that. So now I have it. And it will be part of my Christmas display. We're actually working on a cool mount for it, custom mount, to keep it secure-ish, hopefully. Don't have any issues. It is kind of expensive, but it's pretty wicked. It's pretty cool. And like I said, the video just does not do it justice at all. At all. It's way cooler in person. This particular one, you can turn off the red or turn off the green. To me, the green is where it's at. The red's there, but it's not nearly as bright as the green. The green is very intense. It's awesome. It's so cool. It's so cool. So I've had it out in like my backyard, and I'm hitting trees like 3 houses away, and I'm like, oh, that's a little sketchy. So it is very powerful. Here we are zooming in, or flying in closer, I should say, with the drone. It's pretty cool, and you can see it's moving a little bit. It was really windy this night, so the thing is like staked into the ground, but it's shaking back and forth in the wind just a smidge. So it's kind of dancing just a little bit. But I thought it was really cool, and like I said, I was going to make a separate video, but it didn't quite turn out like I wanted to. But I thought I'd throw the footage in anyway. And here's some pictures, still pictures of the different patterns, and just kind of between the different patterns and whatnot. I think the pictures turned out better than the video, actually. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed another On the Farm video. Hope you guys made it to the end. Let me know if you did. I do appreciate all those comments. And until next time, I guess I'm your boy John from Puma Plow. That's not a pattern. That's in between the pattern. Just saying. I thought it was cool, though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Look at that sunset. That's the supermoon, by the way. Thanks for watching. Toodles.